SACU is made up of Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, South Africa and Swaziland. The group met with the UK Minister responsible for trade policy, Lord Price, to talk about the current economic partnership agreement and what happens post-Brexit.
We want to make sure that nobody suffers because of a gap between us leaving the EU and striking new deals. What I've been so encouraged about today at our meeting is that we have all agreed that we do not want to see that gap. We are all now going to work diligently to ensure that the current agreement is transferred, and so on the day the UK leaves the EU, there will be a UK SADC trade deal.
The ministers were at pains to point out that this wasn't the first round of negotiations, but a discussion or dialogue looking to smooth the changeover once the UK exits the EU.
That the next steps is basically for our experts or senior trade officials basically to go through the framework that we have guided them to do, and by September I think they'll be meeting where they will be able to thresh out some of the issues that we raised and come up with a clear roadmap so that we are able to conclude our dialogue in time.
There are a few issues that countries are going to have to solve, but it appears the changeover in 2019 doesn't represent a new round of negotiations, specifically in South Africa's case.
Any of the countries, it might just be a case of changing EU and institutions that are mentioned in the EU to some appropriate institution in the UK. But in the case of South Africa, we were not given duty-free, quota-free access for all products into the EU market. We were given tariff rate quotas for a number of our agricultural products in particular, and ones where we are fairly competitive.
Despite this, everyone agrees new deals won't be negotiated. The UK, in the meantime, is talking to all of its trading partners.
For a lot of people, the UK leaving the EU could look as though we're becoming protectionist. It could look as though we're becoming inward-looking. The message that we want to get out around the world here, both through trade and DFID and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, is exactly the opposite.
So the first round of talks is over. It's now the turn of the technocrats to dot the I's and cross the T's and wait for Brexit to happen. I'm Angelo Coppola for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.